very, very soon. All right, so now let's talk about the benefits of eggs and why you should be eating eggs. And just realize I don't eat my eggs for breakfast. I eat them at my lunch because I fast. Of course, it's a late lunch. It's probably around 2, 2:30, maybe sometimes 3 o'clock. So number one, the protein in eggs is superior. And what I'm talking about is the anabolic effect, which means the ability of that egg to help build protein tissues in your body, and the percentage of how much that egg protein is converted into body protein, like your muscles, your joints, and other proteins as well. So if we exclude breast milk, okay, protein is at 48%. So 48% is turned into body tissue. If we're talking about meat or fish, it's only 32%. And when we talk about soy protein, that's like 17%. And as a side note, egg white is only 17%. When you add the yolk in there, you get more utilization, which is interesting. And then whey protein is only 16%. So what happens to the other part of this protein? Well, it's converted into glucose and used as fuel. Now, there's another little thing about this I want to mention, and it's called insulin index. I talk about this in my book, but insulin index is the scale of how a non-carbohydrate food influences insulin. And whole eggs with the cholesterol have a much lower insulin effect than egg whites. So the more that you take out fat and have it as a pure protein, as in whey protein, the higher the insulin spike. So eggs, if you compare that to anything else, is basically the best protein for you. All right, next point is choline. Choline is really good for your brain. Choline acts as a bile salt in your liver. It helps break down cholesterol. So it's a good antidote for gallstones. It's a good antidote for a fatty liver. And then we get to lecithin, which is also another antidote for cholesterol, to keep your cholesterol in check, because eggs come with cholesterol. And a lot of people are concerned about cholesterol. In fact, there was a study out that said that when you eat eggs, it increases your risk for death from heart attacks by, I think, 17%. But I did a whole video on that. I will put the link down below. It's a ridiculous study based on a questionnaire. I wouldn't even call it a study because this association was so weak, and they didn't talk about the million other variables that could have caused heart attacks. And without getting into it too much, eggs will increase your HDL more than the LDL, but that's for a different topic. Now, the other cool thing about eggs is that they have a good amount of vitamin K2, which keeps the calcium out of the arteries and keeps the calcium out of the joints. And eggs also have vitamin D. So vitamin D and vitamin K2 work together. And there's not a lot of foods out there that will give you vitamin D. Eggs also have vitamin E, good for the heart, good for the skin. And eggs are loaded with vitamin A, the type that's extremely bioavailable, and it's called retinol. So part of these pigments in the vitamin A complex are like yellow, orange. So the deeper the color, the more the vitamin A you're going to get. And eggs have omega-3 fatty acids, okay? Especially if they're allowed outside so they can eat worms and insects. Eggs are loaded with the B vitamins, B1, B2, B3, B6, B12. Now, I did mention that I feed my chickens a organic grain without the soy, without the corn. That grain is fermented for 3 days to release a lot of the B vitamins and other nutrients that are locked up in that grain. And not only is that more nutritious, you can feed them less because it helps their digestion. Eggs also have trace minerals and minerals. Eggs also have carotenoids, okay? That is a nutrient-dense pigment that gives that yolk the color, but it also has a lot of health benefits, okay? Now, the two big carotenoids are, number one, lutein, which is yellow in color, and zeaxanthin, which is more orange. Both of these pigments greatly improve the eye. In fact, the greatest concentration of these carotenoids are in the eye. So they support the lens, the retina. They help prevent macular degeneration. They help reduce the blue light that you're exposed to with all your computers and cell phones, etc. but there's a lot of other benefits too for your brain as well. Now, one question that has been asked is, how do you prepare an egg to maximize the nutrition in the egg? Because if you're going to heat it too much, you might destroy some of the carotenoids. And so poached or over easy would be a great way to do that. Or if you want scrambled, what I would recommend is crack the egg inside the pan, let the whites turn a little white, and then turn the heat down and then mix it up and scramble it after the white part has turned a bit white. This allows you to preserve a lot of these nutrients as compared to taking your egg in a bowl and mixing it up and then putting it in the frying pan. So now that you know the benefits of eggs, if you're a small person, maybe you only have 1 or 2 eggs. If you're a larger person, have 3 or 4. And if you have any considerations about the cholesterol in eggs, you got to check out this video right here.